Hello folks, John here with Transformational Engagement. Welcome to the second video of the three-part video series that I've put together to help teach a particular breathing exercise that will help to bring us back into alignment and back into our core centers. Now, in the first video, we had talked about the importance of starting to find moments throughout your day where you can start to bring your awareness to yourself and devote that time to start to gather some information. And we're doing this so that we can start to build some kind of foundational basis to have some kind of reference point so that when we do incorporate this breathing exercise, we're able to accelerate this process and get us to where we need to be a lot quicker. Now, in this video, we're going to dive a little bit more into what it means to be basically functioning and being in alignment with yourself, being basically functioning from your core center. And also kind of what the contrast is. And this will actually help to have a better understanding of when you're starting to gather this information, when you're starting to bring your awareness to yourself, it'll be a little bit more clear, the differences and the contrast that you're seeing between what it feels like to be operating from your center and what it's like to be out of your center. Now, when I mention your core center, I think for many of us, I think we have a pretty good understanding of what we're talking about here. But I think it'll help us to kind of break it down a little bit more. So when we're talking about the core center, I think for all of us, for the most part, it can really be broken down into four categories. And those categories are the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Now, each one of those categories, you can pretty much devote a particular exercise or technique that through that category and through that practice that you're doing, you're able to realign all those categories. And when you do that and you're able to realign those categories, that is what starts to bring you back into a state of inner balance. And when you are in that state of inner balance, that's when you can pretty much figure that you are operating from your core center. Now, for many of us, we've been living our lives in a way where we've been out of touch with our core center for so long that we just don't know the difference. Now, when you are operating from your core center, the truth really is that you are, because it really takes a conscious decision to start to make corrections in your daily routine that you know that you have to make. And when you start that process and you start to do that, you start to realign yourself in some way, shape, or form throughout your day and then throughout your week and basically throughout the month. And you get to a point where it's just right. So, the things that you're really looking for is that for the most part, you're just calm, you're cool, you're collected. There's not like really much in the environment that can really sway you. You're not really actually kind of like attached to any particular outcome. So in essence, basically, just to sum it up, you're just in a state of flow. It's a state of flow that has basically no restrictions. There's no resistance really. You're for the most part, you're just fully alive. You're clear thinking. Basically, the decisions and actions you're taking throughout your day just keep to compound on this effortless flow. And it gets to a point where you just know that you're there. You're basically in the zone. And it's a beautiful feeling. And in contrast to that, when we start to kind of fall apart in a sense where we kind of get to a point in our lives where we start to drift. So essentially, it's kind of like a good word for it. You're basically a drifter. You're just kind of drifting along. You're just in your day-to-day process. You're just kind of plugging away, doing the normal routine that you're used to, And basically what happens during these moments in your life is, and I'm sure we've all been there, you just kind of, it is the path that is wrought with the most resistance, really. So you start to find that you're not very clear thinking. Pretty much anything within your day can really razzle you in a sense. You'll find that, and if you do bring your awareness to yourself, you do find that there's just this constant negative chatter that's going on in your mind. And besides that, and again, when you do bring your awareness to yourself, you'll find that really the majority of the thoughts that you're thinking about at any given moment are usually about the past, or it's about the future, and never really in the moment. So, and if you do that long enough, you definitely get to a point where you start to lose a little bit of willpower. So maybe past addictions can kind of easily come back into your life, and in a sense, you're consuming energy in a way that is just not productive for you. So usually your environment becomes very labored in a sense. So again, in this point, any decisions that you're making or any actions that you're taking really require a lot of energy. And so I think that's a really good way to sum up those two categories. Now, I actually want to bring up some food for thought, if you will. So several years back, I actually came across a bumper sticker that I found to be absolutely powerful, actually. So the bumper sticker stated that the universe rearranges itself to accommodate your picture of reality. Now, if there's any truth to that, which I do believe there is, for me, ever since I read that bumper sticker, it was like one of those aha moments. It was something that's really stuck with me. So if there is any truth to that, I think it's of utmost importance that we do start to develop our day in a very conscious manner, and actually just really be on top of it. So the exercise that we did here for the past 24 hours was so important because it's a willing action to start to bring your awareness to yourself. And it's not like something you have to do constantly throughout the day, but it is something that just needs to be there in the back of your mind, if you will, that I got to devote this little bit of time just to get a little bit of information about myself. And the more you do that, the more you do that, you really increase that pathway of least resistance. So if you haven't done it yet, I'd urge you to really consider why you have not done it yet, and take this next 24 hours, and I think that's something that we'll do here until before we get actually into the last video where we're going to start to practice this breathing exercise. And take this next 24 hours and devote that to that practice again. So finding those moments throughout the day where you can bring your awareness back to yourself and start gathering that information. So when you do learn this breathing exercise, you can start to do it at those moments that you're just kind of drifting along. And it'll be absolutely powerful for you. It definitely changes a lot of things for the better. And I know you'll love it, and I look forward to teaching that particular breathing exercise. Cheers.